Hi friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be about how to set up for your first art market vendoring event, what I recommend as personal essentials, tips of what to do, what to keep in mind. I've been doing events now for close to a year, and I have learned a lot of things, and one of them being that your table, your booth, your setup will never be exactly the same, and you will do things differently every single time, even in tiny little ways, because that's just how it works. But yeah, so there will be tips, there will be suggestions, recommendations, things that I use and how I use them, and a walkthrough of my setup. So y'all can have a look, get inspired, keep things in mind, and yeah. So I have the iPad ready to go with my notes, which I have a list called Vendor Setup Checklist and Tips, because first and foremost, I have many Virgo placements and I need to keep things organized and make lists, and lists will be your friend when you're trying to remember every single little thing that you need to get and make and customize and prepare and take with you for the day of your event. So let's get started. This video is going to be split up in 3 different sections. It's going to be things that you need to buy, things for you to consider, maybe not necessarily you buying, but you making, you customizing, more specific things, and then the third is going to be my personal essentials and just tips of like how I do things, because that is what works best for me, through trial and error and doing many events. So I think I'll be able to cover most, if not everything, that way. And yeah, so let's get started now. Okay, so the things that you will be buying will be your 6-foot table, because that's the standard. I have a 5 because that's all I could find when I first went to buy my table, but I'm trying to get a 6-foot table now. 6-foot table, and then your displays, and then your chairs. Maybe you don't have to buy some if you already have some, but a chair for you to sit. Tablecloth, and your storage bin. So those are going to be like the main things that you're going to have to buy. For sure, definitely need. So for your tablecloth, I do recommend doing a black color, just because your eye will focus easier on whatever you're putting onto the table, and it will be less distracting. You won't have to worry about it clashing or being a little overwhelming or anything like that. I've always had a black tablecloth, and I really like the look of everything on it, with that color, just because it looks professional and clean. So I do recommend that. For displays, I do recommend you having tiers if you can, if that applies to your art, just because you want people to be able to see your art from afar, not just like if you have stuff flat and then them walking up and then being able to see your art. So if there's a way for you to have at least one thing propped up so people can see it from afar, across the room, wherever, I highly recommend that. And just to create more like interest, if that makes sense. So having levels to your setup will spice it up, as opposed to just having everything flat. So I'll show y'all how I used to have my buttons, my little buttons. I used to have them in these little bins, but you can't see them, and so, I mean, unless you walk up to the table. So I wanted people to be able to see them from afar, and so now I have this embroidery hoop that I pinned all the buttons to, and I propped that up, and so now you can see them from afar, as opposed to just walking up to the table and then having a look at them. And then also that saves me space on the table, so instead of having all those bins there with my buttons, I just have one thing propped up and I have all that space cleared. So that's an example of how having stuff flat, as opposed to having stuff propped up, can make a difference. About the bin that I said was an essential that you're gonna have to buy, I meant one of those like plastic storage bins. I'll show y'all also in the next clips. But that is just such a lifesaver, just because you're gonna throw everything in there and then take it with you to the event, put it down, put your table up, put the tablecloth, and then just put everything in there. And then the bin is gonna go underneath the table. And then if you keep your bags and stuff in there, you just put it next to you, and then you're able to just access stuff easily, pack it up, give it. I also keep most of my inventory in the bin now, just to save myself space on the table, like my prints, my stickers, my buttons. I think that's it. I keep in the bin with me, and I just pick whatever people want. They're like, oh, this sticker, I get the sticker, put it in a bag, put a business card in it, give it. Get the buttons, put it in the bag, give it. It's just easier, saves yourself space, you keep everything near you, and yeah, more efficient, cleaner, organized. That's what you want. Now for your table essentials, you're going to, first off, remember to make something like a sign, a card, something to have your payment app QR codes, just so people can pay you. So I have my PayPal and my Venmo on those. And then I also have a card reader that I ordered from Square, and I will leave the link down below. It's a completely free card reader, so you can accept cards. And then also keep your cash. Keep some cash so you can do change for people who want to pay cash. Those are important to keep in mind of and not forget, so you can actually get paid. And then you're going to want to have a business card holder with your business cards, so you can hand those out to anybody interested, and you can also promote your online shop if you have an online shop as well, and just to make a connection with whoever is coming up to your table. Very important. And then you're going to also want to have your pricing labels, signs figured out. You can either go to places like the Dollar Tree, Walmart, Target, whatever craft store, and they usually do have blank little stickers for prices, so you can put those down, or you can design your own little labels. Like I do both, so I have some little stickers, and I also have some things like on my bookmark bin that I designed. And my stickers, they have a sign with like peachy colors and stuff like that, just to kind of get a cohesive aesthetic going on your table, which is very important to have too, just so it looks more, like I said, cohesive. Next is figuring out what you're going to be selling. So you need to make a list of that, and then once you have that list, you can start to look into if you're going to buy bags or anything for giving them to the customer. So I have paper bags, probably like this big, for prints and stickers, and then I have craft, like sturdier little bags for totes and like hoops and anything bigger or multi-item purchases. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And then on my bags, I have a sticker with my logo on it, just so people don't forget where they bought stuff from. And if they're walking around, people can see your brand from afar as well. So that's a double win there. I highly recommend that. Putting your logo on your bags, if you're getting bags, either with a sticker or a stamp, hand drawn, whatever you want to do that, and then adding a business card in there as well, just so people don't forget where they bought their beautiful art from. Now we're going to do my personal essentials, things that I recommend taking with you for your event. So I'm going to read these right now. I wrote, I bought a hand sanitizer and I put it next to my business cards. And then I sometimes like to put out candies in the same spot, like with the business cards and the hand sanitizer. Stuff like Jolly Ranchers. You don't want to get stuff like chocolate or things with like milk and eggs that people can't eat. And then take water with you, just because all this talking all day at the event, you're gonna be thirsty. Your throat is gonna get dry, so you're gonna want water. And then small, non-messy snacks that you can eat at your table. And I guess again, cash for people who like to pay with cash, or maybe have lost their card or whatever reason, forgot their card, or whatever reason they don't have a card, and so you can't do the card payments, or they don't have Venmo or PayPal or any of those payment apps on their phone. You can still get paid. And then my little notes also are to practice what your little introduction phrase is going to be, just so when you're at your first event, you have something to say, because you're already going to be so nervous. So I like to just say, hi, how are you doing? Everything here is hand embroidered, handmade in some way. Let me know if you have any questions. It can be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be like a whole thing, just something simple. It gets like a connection started with the customer, a conversation started, and you can tell them a little bit about you. So that's that. And then I also like to, if you're able to, if this applies to you, pack the car the night before your event, even if it's later in the day, just so you don't have to be worrying about that the day of. And you can just prepare getting yourself ready, hyping yourself up, running through your checklist just to ensure you have everything ready. You can focus on those things instead of having to deal with packing your car, especially the first time you're going to pack your car. You need to figure out how you're going to pack your car. So pack it the night before if you're able to. And then if you run an online shop, don't forget to close the shop if you have one-of-a-kind items, or just to keep track of your inventory. I do this. I had to do this for sure, because I don't want to sell a hoop at the event and sell it online or something, and then I already sold it at the event, and it's just gonna save yourself from problems. And then my last thing is knowing that your first event jitters are completely normal. Everybody had to start somewhere. Everybody did a first event. Everybody was nervous, even me. I am a very talkative person. I love talking to people, and I was quiet. I was quiet for like an hour or two, did not know what to say, was so anxious. I just stood at my table like, just because I was so nervous, but it's okay. You're going to get through it. It's going to be amazing. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to meet so many lovely, amazing, sweet vendors, and you're going to want to do it again right after. It's going to be so much fun. I promise. You're going to do great. So now I will show y'all the clips of everything that I keep in my bin so y'all can see what I was talking about. And so here's my bin that I have all my setup things in. I will take everything out and show y'all how I use it, what I use, stuff like that. I highly recommend you get a bin first off, because it will just make things easier for you when you carry it all. But yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so here are my essentials. Like I said, the business cards, business card holder, things for like display stuff. These serve the purpose of elevating my pieces so they're not just flat on the table. Tablecloth and payment app little thing that I designed, and then just stick to the tablecloth with double-sided tape. That will come in so handy. Please get yourself some double-sided tape. It will save you. Alright, and then the rest of what is in the bin is just my inventory, like my buttons in the original bags, the stickers I put in these little dollar bins from Michael's, and then have my bookmarks over here, the book that I used with this to show how you use the bookmarks, because people oftentimes don't know what they are. Like I said in the last video, my zines, other stickers, a hoop, and then I used to use these for my buttons, but now I use this so that they can be elevated and people can see them. And then the last little bin down there has my totes and pouches. Here I keep the bags, the paper bags that I use for my prints and stickers, and down there you can see my craft paper bags that are sturdier, and I use those for everything else, like totes and hoops and whatever else, or like multi-item purchases. And they have my Peach Stitch brand little logo sticker on them. I'm working on getting a stamp so I could stamp these little paper bags so they also have a logo on them. And then I used to use these for my earrings, the little backing cards, but I have my little backs in there and these. Now I just use these ones because they're cuter. And then I also keep my sticker, my button combo packs, in here just to keep everything organized. And my prints, I will only put one of each print out on the table just so it's not so cluttered. And I just like grab one from here, pack it, give it. Throw in a business card, then give it. And yeah, so that's what's in there. And then over here is just my hangers that y'all saw, and this like Venmo QR code stand, and then the little resealable plastic bags that I use for these, just in case. I almost forgot, but I keep this little tip jar next to my business cards and hand sanitizer as well. I think it's cute. Also Valentine's, because I just love Valentine's Day. It's my anniversary, so I will have Valentine's Day things on my table. I got asked how long it takes me to set up and how I decided what I wanted my setup to look like. So the first question, I'm not the only one who does my setup. My partner helps me. Shout out to Adrian. So like when it comes to when I have to set up with a canopy, I could not do that by myself. But with his help, it takes us probably like about 6 minutes ish. And then my table with his help takes me probably 15 to 20 minutes to get it all organized. Obviously, as you go about doing events, that time will shorten because you'll know what you're doing, as opposed to doing your first event. I can't remember exactly how long my setup took me when I did my first event, but I just know that I didn't even have to like bring a table. Like the table was already there, so I just needed to put a tablecloth and put everything up. So it probably took me longer just because I was really nervous, but now it takes me about 20-ish minutes. So there's that. And then second thing, how I decided what I wanted my setup to look like. I just wanted it to look clean, organized, non-overwhelming, inviting, friendly, fun to look at. That's what I wanted. And obviously to be aligned with my Peach Stitch brand, which is literally just me. Like I am my brand. But I just wanted it to be something that I felt reflected me, and also something that would invite people. So I keep that in mind all the time. But yeah, specifically I wanted it to be like cottagecore and obviously like peachy colors. I still have lots of things that I want to add to my setup to make it more cottagecore. I changed my setup like 2 to 3 times already. So we'll see. At least right now I have all my displays and like table essentials done, so I think now I can like properly move on to the decoration parts, which I would say for sure get your essentials done and then focus on decorative aspects of your table, just because money and priorities. But yeah, I wanted it to look like that. Me, a reflection of me, who I am, inviting, clean, organized, and just fun. So that's how I decided what to put on my table. I hope y'all liked this video and it was helpful to you in some way or another. I hope there was something that I said that you hadn't thought about, or can help you if you already had a setup, how to revamp it if that's what you wish. I love changing it up, so I support it. Change it up as many times as you want. Do whatever you want. It's your table setup, it's your booth space. Nobody can tell you what to do with it except for you. So yeah, I hope you like that. Stay tuned for another video, hopefully next week. I'm on a roll. But yeah, see ya, stay safe, take care.